Merry Christmas to all my tubers out there. I just thought I would make a quick estate sale video. I bought more lights to add to my massive hoard of lights. I have a sickness when it comes to these old C9 lights. These ones aren't the old inside painted. They're getting harder and harder to find at estate sales. The outside painted I see occasionally, but the inside ceramic coated bulbs and sets, very hard to find nowadays. It's maybe once or twice a year I find some, but even these style of C9s. So anyway, yeah, I picked up a hoard of C9 lights. I think there's 9 strings because they're $1 a string, and I paid $9. I just picked these out and set them on the hold table until I went through the rest of the estate sale. And but yeah, we'll pull them all out, see what works, what doesn't. Yeah, that's just what I needed, right? More. I have so many. I've been hunting for some bulbs for there. The wreath on my porch has green LEDs in it, and you think I can find the spares anywhere? One bulb is out, and the red ones in the front shrubs, they're LED. They're the only LEDs I use are the red ones in the front shrubs, and the green ones on the wreath with the old vintage blinking bells. Well, the red ones, most of them stopped working they're 2 years old. This is the 3rd season, and 3 of the sets wouldn't work at all. 2 of the sets, half of them lit up, and 2 sets, they all worked. Well, now I had another set, half went out, and I found another set I had that I got half working. So there's 2 sets that only half work on the one shrub. So after Christmas, I'm just gonna throw all those LEDs away. I was thinking of putting red and white C9s on those bushes, cedars next to the Charlie Brown tree that has the green lights next year. I'll go out and get a little video right now so you can see what I'm talking about. These are all clear, and they're old vintage from my folks. This is the one. Okay, so the top half of the red went out, so I found another set that the red worked on half of it and put it on, and the other half I just kind of balled up and stuffed down in there. That doesn't work. So, and half the lights on the top here don't work because that's half the one string that I'd already put on it. And these 2 both work, both those LED incandescent. These were from my folks, those clear are from my folks, but that's the Charlie Brown tree, and you can see the old style wiring and sockets and stuff. Look, there's a satin glow C9. That's inside ceramic, inside ceramic. That's an outside painted, outside ceramic. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about there in my blow mold candles there. Those ones are different. Those ones my dad picked up in an estate sale, and I restored them and been using them on the porch. The ones by the garage were the ones my grandma bought when she worked for Woolworth, and we figured, talking with, this is years ago, talking with my grandparents and my dad, we figured they're about 1949. My grandma couldn't remember exactly what year, but my dad was still in high school, or in school, and he graduated in 53. And so we're figuring, between my grandparents and parents and aunt, we figured 1949 for those candles. And this one I just had to repaint the front. When I got them from my grandparents, they were still alive when I got them from them, but they're faded almost like pink. These candles are completely white plastic, and they painted them, and that paint was faded to pink, so I repainted them probably 30 plus years ago. Anyway, the paint on the front of this one, I put them up in the attic this year, which I should have not done last summer to store them. And all the paint on the side, which was facing the gable of the roof, peeled. And so I repainted the front of this one, or I repainted the whole thing actually, sanded out, but that one's still the paint from all those years ago. And I might give them both this one looks good now, but the paint reacted, so I'm going to 400 it and that one too, and give them both a quick repaint. But I like them out here, I like them where they're at. My snowman too. So anyway, let's go check those old vintage C9s. I can see I use the old, I try and keep the GE bulbs down to an arm's reach. I don't like getting up on a ladder to change those, so I use a lot of the old, like this style, these old, I think they're made in Hong Kong or Taiwan. That one, those kind there last for years. I have some of those bulbs I've been using 20-30 seasons and they still illuminate, but these GEs, yeah, you get maybe, they don't burn a lot, they burn out quick. So I probably change these GEs more than any other bulb of any of the sets I have. So I try and keep those as often as they burn out at an arm's reach. The GEs just don't, they're a great finish, but they just don't, filaments just aren't, they don't have the lifetime span of hours for the filament like these bulbs do. And like I say, some of these bulbs I've been using for still illuminate after 20-30 winters of being outside, and I'm lucky if I get 5 years out of one of these. All right, let's go in and check out all those bulbs I got. Yeah, along with old cars and Christmas lights, vintage Christmas lights. Don't like the new stuff, I like the old stuff. Anyway, let's see what works and what doesn't. What do you say? There's set number one. All but 2 bulbs work, and I think these are from Walmart because it came with a bunch of packages of replacement bulbs. And you notice there's 2 greens out while we have plenty of green replacements. Let's change those 2 green bulbs, seeing we got spares, and then this whole set will work, and then we'll start working on, these are the 2 sets that were not in bags, so I'll put these probably back in the bags just to keep them from getting tangled up. I need to pull all my Christmas stuff out and go through it and get more big plastic Tupperware bins to store stuff in. And yeah, I don't know why I bought these. I don't need them, but I just, like I say, it's a sickness I have. My dad collected banana stickers. I collect old vintage lights. My dad had hundreds of banana stickers, no 2 that were identical. His coworkers would save banana stickers for him and everything, and he had quite a collection. Like I say, no 2 of his banana, if he had an identical one, he wouldn't put it in his collection. So when he retired, he stopped collecting them. Anyway, let me change those 2 green bulbs and check some more lights. There we go, change those 2 bulbs. The glass on these feels like they're, like I could just smash them in my fingers. They just feel paper thin. One thing I have to say I like about these sets here is if you notice the lead plug cord is really short. You know, I mean, most 90% of the Christmas lights you put up, you use some type of extension cord with them. So I don't know why they put those long lead cords, and you gotta fold them back and forth if you're continuing them like on a house eve or something. And see how when they're plugged in, there's the same spacing between the bulbs to where they're not plugged in, and I kind of like that. I wish all sets were like that. But some of the really old ones, they have long lead-in cords. I think probably because extension cords weren't so common back in that era. But let's see if we can zap these, and let's see, these are polarized. Got one flickering there. It's either ready to burn out, or I don't think it's loose. I think it's just ready to burn out. But all these are, every one of them's illuminated. Kind of zip tied that string up, and then we'll start going through those. So far I've only used 2 green spare bulbs there. All right, every one of those is illuminated. This set here was somewhat neatly wrapped and came out of that bag, and I'm just going to put them back in the bag. So let me plug them in here. And again, all of them illuminate, every single one of them. On to the next set of lights here. Let's see what this one does. I'm standing around. I had to change my battery and standing here yapping a bit too much. One, no, that one's lit. It's just loose in the socket. This estate sale was in Huntington Woods, kind of by the golf course and Detroit Zoo. It was a pretty big mansion that they were at, so they had lots of bushes and stuff, so they had plenty of places to put these lights. And these were the C9s. There was some transparent C7s that were newer that I wasn't interested in, and a ton of LED lights that I was not interested in, but these were the ones I wanted, so they were the ones I grabbed at a previous estate sale. Some lady had a handful of C9s in her hand, and somebody commented to me, "Oh, you missed out on those lights." Yeah, everyone knows that, you know, because it's the same people that run the estate sales, and I see them all the time because I go to their sales so often. And they know what I like to buy, and one of the things they know I always buy are C9 lights. You can see, I don't know if that shows up or not, but you can see it is a little faded, this couple of the bulbs, or it's just the paint, because some of them are a little faded looking. You know, they're outside painted bulbs. They're not like the ceramic coat inside coated. Well, it looks like we have a white out. Yep, that's definitely out, and there isn't. Oh, and there's a green. Oh, that just was loose. The blue is out, so we'll put a blue in. We got a whole ton of new ones with the lights, so there we go. And we need something. We'll put a red in there. What do you say? Although, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reds, 5 blues, bunch of greens. I don't have any more yellow and white spares over here, so I guess I'll just put a red in. I don't think these are in any particular color order. There we go. All those lights work now. So out of, so far, 2, 4, 5 strings, I've had 4 burned out bulbs. I think that's doing pretty darn good. I guess it had a C7 bulb in here like the C7s. Yeah, it's not a twinkler. Yep, that bulb's bad. I can see the broken filament on it. Yeah, so that'll go in with the garbage. Maybe that's why it was loosened in one of these bags. Anyway, let's try this set. And 100% of them illuminate. I'm doing pretty good here. Usually there's a few burned out in every set when I buy them in estate sales. And can't complain here at all. If I use these wiring, I'll cut these. I hate these labels on, and they say right on them, "Do not remove," but I always remove them. I don't like the look of them when they're out in bushes and trees and stuff, so I just absolutely refuse to leave them on the wiring. Anyway, we got another illuminated set there. And now for the last set, let's see what these ones do. Let me, let's see, I think that's the way they plug in. These polarized plugs. And another set that every single lamp illuminates, and I think I did really good. The wiring's halfway decent. You know, I leave my C9s in the backyard out pretty much well until the daylight starts getting longer. I don't really use them as Christmas lights. I use them as winter lights, and the candles and the blow molds and stuff like that I'll put away after New Year's. Like New Year's Day, I put all the real Christmassy stuff away, but the actual light sets on the garage and in the tree, I'll leave them up, because that way it brightens up the outside, you know, just makes it a little brighter and looks nice, and you know, it's not as depressing from, you know, the short days. I mean, we're coming on the 21st, which is the shortest day of the year. Then they start getting longer, but it takes a while, you know, like late February, early March. So usually that's about when I take these down, is early March sometimes, and leave them up a little longer. But just until it's daylight, until 7, 8 o'clock, I'll leave these up and turn them on in the night just to brighten up the outdoors a little bit. You know, that's just the way it's too depressing when it's dark at 4:30 in the evening, and you know, you still want to do things outside and you can't see. So this just kind of lights up to where you can still do things outside. You know, I like to, I don't know, I putz in the yard. So I was working in the yard most of the day yesterday, and it was, you know, 56, and sat on the porch and BS'd with neighbors. And looks like it says something on the back of the sockets here. Loose bulb there. Yeah, it just says SEU9. That's all it states on there. All right, there we go. Looks like it was not 9 but 7 sets. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. $9 for 7 sets and the spare bulbs. I'm not complaining. I keep spare bulbs in the garage. I always save the empty packages, like when I have like I took some of these bulbs out and put them in that pack there, just so I have spare bulbs for the lights in the back here. You know, if I want to see one burned out, I can quickly change it. But I save these packs, these empty packs, because when I buy light sets that the wiring is just trashed on or unusable, I take all the bulbs out and throw the wiring away, and I put the bulbs in these packs. So I have new packs like these that have, you know, 50, 60, 70-year-old bulbs in them, because it keeps them from rolling around and getting broken. So I always save my packs, and that way I can fill them up. Even if they're not full, I can fill them up. So I got those ones there, and then I have some C7 spares out here. They came with these lights, and I've had to replace 2 bulbs since I put these up. I think that bulb and the white one down there, which was a yellow one, which is now white. But those are from an estate sale too. All my lights are estate sales or garage sales. And then I have a baggie. When mini lights go bad, the wiring or whatever, I save the bulbs out of the sets for spares. And that's one of my sets of my Folks lights that I keep in there in case if I have to change one of them out in the front. If a set goes out in the front shrubs, I can just swap the set out and then fix the set. Those old lights, though, they never seem to go out. And there's some more spare bulbs down in there. One of them with the... I got a ton of these bulbs. I bet you got 400 or 500 of them. I don't use a lot of them because, you know, they're kind of really... I never see them anymore in sales. And I like them, so I only put a few out in the backyard lights where I can see them from in the house to enjoy them. And I got a couple of these light things. This one you just hold over the bulb to check, you know, when a set doesn't illuminate, and you can find the bad bulb. And I also have one of, this is what I test. Made this to test C9s, and I soldered that cord to those copper brass things in there, because sometimes if the bulb blows, it burns the wiring away from those little pins that push in and ruins the socket. So this one's soldered, so when those bulbs pop like that, it doesn't ruin this, and I don't ruin a set of lights. And then I also have this, which is called a Light Keeper Pro, and I use this to fix when the mini lights don't work. You can pull one bulb, any bulb in the set that's not illuminated, push the socket in there, and you pull that a couple times, and they usually light right up. Or you can plug the set right into there and do the same thing, and there you can test your bulbs. And I think that tests fuses and that tests bulbs. And I'm not sure what that does. It doesn't really say, just it says I can't read what it says. I need a magnifying glass, but I think it's somehow you can check with that too. But anyway, that's the main one I use right there, and that thing works great. That's the best invention for those series mini lights ever. I wouldn't, if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't see a single series light around my house. I'd have all the parallel C7s and C9s. I hate when one light goes out and the whole set goes out, and this made going through those sets bulb by bulb, which was a pain, made it easy to fix them. Anyway, there we go. So we got some, and I'll put these in with my spare bulbs, and I got a box with just the empties of those, so when I need some I have them. And I'm going to put these lights here up in the garage just to get them out of my way. And like I say, I'll have to pick up some more of those big bins, and maybe this winter or this summer I'll go through and show you the hoard that I have. There's no way I could burn out every light I own, even if I lived another 100 years. So anyway, let me pull down the attic and put them up. Do you want to see all the crap up in the garage attic? Yeah, even that staircase is an estate sale find. I think I showed it in one of my videos when I first picked it up. The box was in pretty rough shape, but it was still new in the box. And I used to use my step ladder there and pitch it here, and then I'd have to stand on the tippy top to climb up in there, and it was a pain in the rear. And when I finished this, I did it so I worked at Home Depot at the time, so I went over and looked at the opening size that this required, and I made that opening the size to fit one of these, with the intentions of eventually putting one in, but I couldn't afford what they were new at the time. And then I bought this in the estate sale. I think I paid 25 bucks for it. I didn't pay a heck of a lot for it. But anyway, it's 300-pound capacity, so it'll take me and my garbage that I carry up. And anyway, I'll take you up there. I'm going to turn the camera off, climb the ladder, and I'll take you up there and we'll take a look at a few Christmas lights up here. Well, my handful of stuff here. And I dropped one of the bags, and I heard some bulbs burst. And I think 3 of them burst. So, well, that's just life. It's not the end of the world. If they're the old twisted glass or I would cry for those, and the ceramic coated ones I'd be upset, but these are outside painted, so they're kind of fairly common still. So anyway, I'm going to carry fewer of them up so I don't drop anymore. All right, upsy daisies. So you can see this is a pretty nicely well-built wooden box my dad made when we were in Australia, and we crossed the Pacific on a ocean liner called the Orange. It was a Dutch line, and so everything that went into the cargo holds were in wooden boxes my dad made. And this is what our Christmas lights have been in since I was a kid. And there's one of those Lightkeeper Pro, and my mom always had Christmas music. But this is just some of the mini lights that they'd put on their house. Those are about 4 sets deep in this box. And anyway, there's a ton of them there. Placemats that were kind of Christmassy. All this stuff was just in this box, and none of this stuff sold in the estate sale, and I didn't see any point in it being thrown away, so I just threw it in the truck. So there's a bunch of stuff in the basement. Certain things I just didn't want thrown away. Look at this, they're brand new, never opened. My mom would use these in little plants inside the house, these little sets. And these wiring, staple guns, that was on their gas light. Anyway, I'm going to put some of the C9s up here. I don't know where they're not, because the mini lights that are in the bushes out in front I'll put back in here. And I don't even know, oh, they're right there. I set them. That's a good place for them for now. Speaking of the Orangie in that box, we went through the Panama Canal on the Orangie to come into Miami. We went from Sydney to Miami. And of course, you don't want to go down under the southern tip of South America and come around. So we went through the Panama Canal. And I think in the 70s, the Orangie was sailing under another name with another line. I think the Dutch line had sold the Orangie, but it burned in the Panama Canal. That was a problem with, you know, still fires on ships are a serious thing, and it's not uncommon. And that was the demise of the Orangie. I don't remember what it was renamed, but it met its fate in the Panama Canal from a fire. There's more Christmas stuff there. There's all these, I don't even remember where these came from. They're like silhouettes. Well, I used to use this one in Savannah. I think I have one of those somewhere. So yeah, I have a bunch of those silhouettes. See that bin right there? That's the size I need. I don't know what's in that. That might be empty. I think that bin's empty. Might be able to use that for some of my lights. Oh, and also there's foam there, and there's burlap and that white stuff you put on over there on top of the foam before you put the cover on. So I have everything to repad the front seat and the Bel Air up here. Just got to get it out of the car and get to it. I'll put these up in the attic too, and then I think I'm going to fix the bulbs I busted in that and put that up in the attic too, and then we're going to be done with this video. Broke 3 bulbs in this setup. Looks like a white one, a green one, and a blue one, so let me get those changed and throw these up in the attic too. Bulbs changed, re-zapped them in to make sure they all still illuminated, which they did. I dumped the broken glass out of the bag. Broken glass and these big Christmas lights kind of go hand in hand. You'd be surprised how many times the bags and boxes of Christmas lights I buy have broken glass in them from bulbs that had burst. And I gotta get the little shop vac and clean up the broken glass off the floor here. All right, let me throw these up in the attic too. 8 strings of lights. I just realized this set was sitting over here out of sight, out of mind. So let me get these ones out and check these ones. And every one of them illuminates. There we go. 8 strings of lights for $9, son. And 4 bulbs were burned out. 3 got smashed when I was carrying them upstairs. So not complaining. Did pretty good on that sale. If I need spare bulbs, if I run out of inside ceramic coated, I'd say probably outdoors I have probably 75% of my bulbs are the inside ceramic coated, and the rest are these. I like them all. I like these ones too. They have their difference in appearance too, just like the inside ceramic, so that way you kind of get them all. You can see how it's kind of, well, it probably won't show up in the video, but these greens, each green looks a little different, and each of the different colors look a little different depending on the way the paint's sprayed on, and that's what I like about these old lights. Every bulb's slightly different. These ones aren't that old. These are probably fairly new. I'm guessing these probably aren't more than 5 years old. All right, let me get these back in the bag and up in the garage. As you can see, if you can see it, the clock is still working, keeping perfect time. But anyway, that's going to be the end of this video. I'm going to end it here. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up icon. That helps me out in getting more views and earning me a few more cents. And if you like my channel, that 348 engine icon that pops up here will subscribe you. And thank you for watching my video.